Here it is. The book we'll be reading together. I found in a box of my brother-in-law's old stuff. He had the complete trilogy in novelization form, which is frankly awesome. All I had in novelization form was Ghost Dad, and to be fair, I remember it being awesome. Back to the Future, a Robert Zemeckis film, this seems to be the title of the book, judging by the cover, is a fascinating book for several reasons. 1. The author was working off of the screenplay, but clearly a version of the screenplay that was not the final one. 2. The author, George Gipe, seems to not have had an editor, as there are sections of the book that are crazy loco. And 3. After putting out this book in 1985 to coincide with the release of the film, he was stung to death by bees, this can happen, and was dead in 1986. The other two novelizations were written by a different author and are not nearly as insane. Interesting. I've read this book last year and dog-eared all the parts that caught my fancy. In this blog we'll be hitting the dog-eared pages and you'll get the experience of reading Steven Spielberg presents Back to the Future, a Robert Zemeckis film, the novel by George Gipe based on a screenplay by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, full title? Without actually having to read SSPBTTFARZFTBGBOASBZABG. The cover uses an off-model version of the logo, look at the B and A, and what's very nearly an off-model version of Michael J. Fox. Also rather than the iconic trail of fire between his legs, ladies, there's just white light behind him. I find it fascinating because all of these design choices seem to shout first draft before they were shinned up for the movie release, which is probably exactly what happened. Here's their familiar copy on the back of the book.
He was never in time for his classes. He wasn't in time for his dinner. Then one day, he wasn't in his time at all. Both an exciting novel and a high-spirited adventure film, Back to the Future is the unforgettable story of a modern time-traveling teenager whose journey to the past risks his very own future when he discovers surprises he never could have imagined.
I wouldn't quibble with this except the phrase high-spirited sounds like your grandfather wrote it, and modern teenager doesn't help matters. Anyway, stay tuned for surprises Marty McFly never could have imagined.